Joining us now, I really appreciate this man. I appreciate the emotion that he showed on Friday with what is transpiring with all his athletes that he's entrusted with to look over. And that's J.D. Wicker, Athletic Director, San Diego State University. J.D., good morning, buddy. How are things?
Good morning, gentlemen. It's dynamic as always. A lot going on.
J.D., where do we even begin? Why don't you just give us an update about the message that you have told to all of the coaches that are in the midst of their seasons, the seasons that have stopped for the Mountain West Conference as of right now?
Well, one of the big things is kind of take a step back, understand that things have certainly changed for those coaches that were literally headed to their championship or were at their championship. It's a lot of discussion of handling those emotions and then figuring out what next steps are. And for our coaches that were in the middle of their spring seasons, again, how do you manage your time going forward? And for all of them, working with your student athletes to make sure they're doing okay. We're, putting resources together to help with all of that and trying to put together a work plan for everybody so that those students and coaches that are, still on campus can get together and work out in some way, shape, or form. Judson, your student athlete, highly structured timing, and all of a sudden you've got a lot of free time. That can be that might be the biggest mental challenge for them.
JD, I'll take the Mark Martinez and the baseball team as an example. If everything has been curtailed, they can't practice as a group per se, but as far as facilities being open to them, and San Diego State has the tops in the nation for so many of the sports, can they still get on the diamond? Can they still go hit? What does that entail as far as the elimination or the suspension of the play right now?
So we communicated last evening. Again, this is how dynamic it is. We were literally ready to hit send on an all-staff email about 7 o'clock last night, laying out what the next 2 weeks look like going into spring break as far as what you're allowed to do for workouts and, creating a work plan. And get an email from the president's office that, hold on, there's been another communication from the chancellor's office, and it was 10 o'clock before we got to send it out. So it literally is changing hour by hour, but we're going to allow teams, individuals to work in small group, individual or up to 5 people, and that's coach and player included, can start working out. So you could have, a coach and 4 guys in a batting cage with appropriate social distancing, absolutely no physical contact. So, basketball players can get into the gym and, they can shoot and coaches can feed them balls and work on technique. Everybody has to wash their hand before they start. We'll wipe all equipment down with, the antibacterial wipes. I mean, we're taking it all serious, but we also want to let our kids, have an outlet. Not only are they still taking classes virtually, they can work with tutors and mentors and academic staff, for the most part through, some type of virtual platform, but then let them get into the gym on the court and, get some energy out. We're still trying to figure out what the weight room situation will look like, but we hope to have that done today.
So heading forward, what's the consideration for a reprieve for a lot of these seniors? If they miss almost the entirety of the season, or if they do miss all of it, would there be a potential that the NCAA would give spring athletes another opportunity next year?
Based on the guidance that came out last week, I think that's where we're headed. Obviously, there's still a lot of work to do. And then how do you handle basically retaining a senior class and adding a freshman class that was going to replace said senior class? And I think that, I don't know, I speculated Friday, and again, this is just purely my opinion at this point in time, that any seniors that want to come back and you get the waiver for, they basically don't count towards your roster limit or scholarship limit, and then they come off the following season and you're back to your regular numbers. But still waiting for the NCAA to tell us how that works.
Aztec Athletic Director J.D. Wicker with us here this morning. Crazy time in college athletics. J.D., overall, what's the temperature of Montezuma Mesa? Is it chins out, heads up for the most part?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously something unprecedented. People have, certainly not dealt with this. There was an interesting article in the UT talking about the 1917 flu and how that was handled locally. But, we have great medical professionals in this world, and they'll figure it out, and we'll be back to normal at some point, whatever the new normal looks like. But we'll be playing games, we'll be practicing, we'll be working out. And so I've told, our coaches and our staff to take this opportunity to, one, reflect on, what are the things that, you've done that you can do better? What would you improve on? What were the great things? And then start looking forward. Also take this opportunity to spend time with your friends and family as much as you can. Family, I guess, more than friends, as we talk about, social distancing and those pieces. But, and then start thinking towards next year. Start planning. Take this opportunity to do some things that you've thought you wanted to do, but you haven't had the opportunity. So it's, again, it's new and unique, and we'll definitely be having continual outreach with staff and coaches on how they're handling it mentally. Because, again, all of a sudden you're used to working basically 24/7 if you're a baseball or softball coach this time of year. You're used to being in the dugout and all that, and now all of a sudden, you're home on the weekend, and that's great for your family, but mentally you've got a little bit to work through there.
JD, we had an idea this morning. It was Costa's idea. I believe it was your wife's idea, right? That we should do this. What would you think about for banners for this season? What if you hung up, and for so many reasons, just to always try to remember not only how odd this is, but what if you hung a map? Oh, you said this on Friday. Was this your idea, Costa? Are you stealing ideas over here?
No.
Did you?
I did say it onDay that we should hang the map. So, right. But I'm sure
you and Meg think a lot alike, obviously, JD.
Yeah, we do. She's awesome, by the way. So, Costa, you should
JD,
definitely say thank you every night. But yeah, no, I think we should hang the map. I really do.
I think the phrase is marrying up.
I understand that. So I can reflect on that with you, Costa, on the whole marrying up thing. But I like the map idea. I think that's the right idea. We own the map this year. The fan base would totally get that and understand it, and it represents everything we had this year. We're the best team in the United States.
That's right. No one is ever going to take that away from us. JD, really appreciate the time. I know it's crazy. And as you said, news just changes by the hour. You guys are out ahead of it, no doubt, up there on the Mesa. Appreciate your time today. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks. Stay safe.
Thanks, JD.